Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. It's been a while since the last time a video, but I'm back today and I'm just going to looking ahead for with a few tips for the Breeders' Cup, which is tonight and tomorrow night at Keeneland in America. So I've just followed the races with the British and Irish horses in, as that's where my knowledge is strongest at. So I'm just going to highlight 4 or 5 of those races for you and hopefully get you a couple of winners for the weekend. To start with the Breeders' Cup tonight, and in the 7 o'clock, I do fancy Dramatise at 7-1. Now, she's an each way price for Carl Burke. Ryan Moore's riding. I think she's got a terrific chance, to be fair. The vibes are very good from the yard. She's training well suddenly. People are so quick to write off horses. She's only got beaten once, and that was last time at York. I don't think she wants 6 furlongs. I think she's a quick, very fast horse. I think 5 furlongs around Keeneland will be right up her street. The fast ground will be good for her. And I think if she's strong in the market, I really expect a big run from her. And 7-1 seems a massive price, as 2 starts back, people are raving about her and thought she was like the best 2-year-old in training, filly-wise. So I think Dramatise at 7-1, people just give up on horse after one bad run. They're not machines, so I think she can bounce back, and hopefully at 7-1 she can run well and get into a place at least. Now, also tonight is in the 9:40 Silver Knot for Godolphin and Buick. Now he's 5-4, so he's very short. So there's not much juice in his price, but I think he just can't get beat. The time he got beat at Doncaster was on soft ground. I think you can just completely rule that run out, as ground. He seems quite ground dependent, I'd say. He won really well last time at Newmarket, and the form was there, beating Holloway Boy and Epicitus. So I think Silver Knot is going to be a tough one to beat tonight, and I think he's banking material, and he's probably a horse you can put in with a few doubles and trebles to boost the price. But I think Silver Knot for Buick and Appleby is the banker for tonight. I do think Appleby and Buick have got some terrific chances throughout the whole weekend at Keeneland. I wouldn't go against them in too many races. They're just such a strong combination. You can't go wrong with them. Now, just quickly, a little interlude. The Howden Gold Cups today, and if you're watching this in time, I think Warlords could run really well at 2-1 for the Tizzards. They won it last year with Eldorado Allen, same profile of horse. He's carrying only 10 stone 7 today, Warlords, and he stays really well. He finished 4th in the Arkle last year. He ties in with third time Luca, who's 13-8, who's favourite, but he's £4 lower than him in the ratings, but I think he's a better horse and will prove that in time. And I think Exeter's a track that will suit him well. Grenadine won't win, I don't think. Too much weight, and it will be primed for the Tingle Creek, so it will just be a prep race for him. So I do think everything's up for Warlord, and hoping he can go in at 2-1. So again, not a massive price, but I think it's a match-up on paper, and I think Warlord's a better horse than Third Time Lucky. So I think for the Tizzards, who have hit some really good form over last week, Warlord seems a good price at 2-1. Now back to the Breeders' Cup, which is on. Going to look at Saturday now, and in the 4:29, Golden Powell is 2-1 favourite for the race. There's not a lot in the race that I really can see taking him on. Really, he should, if he breaks fast like he normally does. I can't see him getting caught. Highfield Princess. She's a terrific story, and it'd be amazing if she won. I just don't see her winning this. I think she'll get caught out the back. Everything will happen too quickly for her. I think Golden Powell will just get away on the front end, and he just is the quickest horse in the race. And there's a lot of 6 furlong horses in the race. It's only 5.5 furlongs around Keeneland. It's a very tight track. So I think Golden Powell will be hard to peg back, assuming he breaks well. But 2-1, I think that's a fair price, and I'd take a chance on him again. Now in the fillies and mares at 5.50, Nashwa is a favourite, around 6-4, 5-4. I think it's quite short for her, even though she has stand-up credentials. And I will be taking her on with Above the Curve at around 5-1 for Joseph O'Brien. Now Joseph won this a few years ago with Iridessa, a 3-year-old as well. Above the Curve's a 3-year-old. Was only just behind Nashwa last time they met in Longchamp. So I think the price difference between the two is ridiculous, and I think 5-1 is a cracking each way bet on her. Her sire was American bred as well, so I think Keeneland could suit her running style even better than what's been shown over in Ireland and France. So I think Above the Curve team is a very good each way bet at 5-1. Johnny Vasquez riding. He's won the race a few times before, so that's a big tick for her. Holly Dole's never won the race, of course, before, so I think that's a bit of a negative to Nashwa's chances, especially when you're backing at a short price. But I would say Above the Curve, it seems quite a consistent horse, and I think 5-1's a very fair each way price on her. Nashwa may be just too quick for them, but I think Above the Curve is a very good chance in the race. In the 7:10 at Keeneland on Saturday, Modern Game should be very hard to beat on form. He's proven that he can travel well. He's come over to Woodbine before and he won 2 starts back. He ran a really good race at Ascot last time out, finishing second in a hot race. So I think he has standout credentials. I think Kinross might struggle on the quick ground. He's not going to get his soft ground this time, so I would take him on. I think Modern Games, his form throughout the year has been very solid. He's always bumped into a top class horse, as in Baaeed at Goodwood, and he's got loads of back class. He won the Guineas in Longchamp as well. So I think Modern Games is a solid favourite at 2-1 again for Buick and Appleby. If you're looking at one for a bit of an each way price, I think the American Annapolis at 9-1 is a good each way price. It's got a really bad draw in stall 11, which is a massive negative, I think, as it might get caught a little too far back. Whereas Modern Games is in stall 4, so he's got a really good draw there. But if Annapolis at 9-1, it looks a good each way bet. I think he's another 3-year-old, only got beat by a stablemate of Modern Games, and on soft ground. So today's race seems like it'll tick a lot of credentials for him, like fast ground, Keeneland over a mile. I think he's very unexposed still. He's beaten the same horse Modern Games did in Ivar. So although he didn't beat him as far, it still shows that he's still unexposed, I guess. And at 9-1, he looks a good each way bet. So they're the 2 I'd be playing in that race. Now in the 8:40, it's my final selection from the Breeders' Cup. Nation's Pride's 2-1 favourite, again for Buick and Appleby. Just can't see him getting beat at all. Buick's chosen to ride in him over Rebels Romance, which is a massive tick, and I wouldn't be touching Rebels Romance because of that. He's proven form over in America already this season, so no issues about that. And I think 2-1 seems a really good price. He is following the same pathway, or similar to what Yabir did last year when he won this race. Appleby's following the same pathway as he did with Yabir, and that's a massive tick for me, as Appleby knows what it takes to win the race and what sort of horse he needs for it. And I think Nation's Pride will be really tough to beat at 2-1. Yes, it's another favourite, but I think these prices are actually very fair and they're good to put in a few accumulators, so we could land a nice double treble with Appleby and Buick. So I think, although they probably won't all win, I think you get a run for your money on all of them. I think they're all very fair prices, and they could get shorter closer to the time. Now, there's some really good racing from Down Royal as well today and tomorrow. Gordon Elliott's normally really good around there, and I would be following his runners. He's got Galvin running. Fury Road also looks like he have a really good has a really good chance tomorrow as well in a 4-runner race. So I'd be putting in a couple of doubles with Galvin and Fury Road. Galvin I can't see getting beat, and Conflated should come second to him, I would have thought, as he's just a younger horse and Ken Boyd's now getting on a bit. So I would have thought that's a good forecast to have in Galvin to beat Conflated up at Down Royal. So I'd also watch out for So Royal at Wincanton running on Saturday. So Royal cleans up in all these grade 2, 3 listed races, and I think he's got another great chance. Loves the good ground. So I think So Royal is another horse that around evens to put in a few accumulators. So overall, this weekend is hopefully a few accumulators you can have to boost the prices on these favourites. Dramatas I really like as an each way chance of 7-1, and hopefully she can start off the weekend well tonight and goes well for Carl Burke. But I wouldn't go too far away from Buick and Appleby and Gordon Elliott this weekend. Now I'll be doing another video shortly with looking ahead to Cheltenham Festival 2023 and starting to look for some anti-post bets there, and seeing as the horse is starting to run now. So make sure to turn notifications on, subscribe, and guys, have a look at my website. It's only £20 a month membership. You have daily horse racing tips in my members area. and I'll be putting my anti-post tips in there as well as horses to follow. So I'm currently plus 55 points for 2022, so it's been a very good year so far. So hopefully you want to give it a go, and let me know if you have any questions. Thanks for listening.